What happens when a mother's heartbreak turns into the most shocking revenge that leaves an entire family begging for forgiveness? This is the true story of how one woman transformed her son's empty birthday party into a lesson her family would never forget. Stay until the end because the twist will leave you speechless. If you love stories of justice, courage, and unexpected comebacks, subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss what happens next. I stood in my living room at 3 p.m. staring at the untouched birthday cake, decorated with dinosaurs, and the 20 empty chairs arranged around tables covered in bright blue tablecloths, and I felt my heart shatter into 1,000 pieces as my son, Michael, sat on the couch in his new birthday outfit, clutching his favorite stuffed elephant with tears streaming down his innocent face, asking me in the smallest voice I had ever heard, "Mommy, why doesn't anyone love me?" And in that moment something inside me broke and then reformed into something harder, something steel-like, because I had spent 3 weeks planning this party, sending personalized invitations to my parents, my 3 siblings, my aunts and uncles and cousins, exactly 23 family members who had all confirmed they would attend with enthusiastic messages and promises, and I had spent my last paycheck on decorations and food and party favors, working double shifts at the hospital where I was a nurse because Michael's father had abandoned us 2 years ago and left me drowning in debt, but I wanted my son to feel special, to feel loved, to have one perfect day. And now here we were surrounded by deflating balloons and silence, so deafening it felt like the walls were closing in, and I pulled Michael into my arms and whispered, "Baby, they love you, they just got confused about the time, they'll come, I promise." Even though I was checking my phone obsessively and seeing nothing, no calls, no texts, no explanations, just a void where my family should have been, and I made silly faces and played games with him alone, and we ate cake together, just the 2 of us, and I sang happy birthday with all the enthusiasm I could manufacture while my soul was screaming. And after Michael finally fell asleep that night, exhausted from crying, I sat in the darkness and opened my phone to find a single notification: an Instagram story posted by my sister Rachel, showing my entire family gathered at my parents' lake house having a barbecue, laughing and toasting with champagne. And the timestamp showed it was posted at 2:45 p.m., exactly 15 minutes before Michael's party started. And I saw my mother, my father, my brothers, my sister, all the aunts and uncles and cousins who had promised to be there for my son. And in the caption, Rachel had written, "Family first always," with heart emojis, and I felt something cold and final settle in my chest, because this wasn't an accident. This was a choice, a deliberate, coordinated choice to exclude my son and me. And I remembered then all the subtle comments over the years, how my mother had never approved of Michael's father, how my siblings thought I was struggling, and it made them uncomfortable, how family gatherings always happened to be scheduled when I was working, how my success as a nurse wasn't quite impressive enough compared to my brother's corporate job and my sister's influencer lifestyle. And I realized with crystal clarity that they had never truly accepted us, that we were the embarrassing poor relations they tolerated but didn't actually want around. And that night I didn't cry, instead I planned, because I was done being the weak one, the one who begged for scraps of affection. And over the next 6 months I worked in silence. I picked up every extra shift available, I saved every penny, I enrolled in online courses and earned my nurse practitioner certification. I applied for better positions at prestigious hospitals, and when I got hired at the top children's hospital in the state with triple my previous salary, I didn't tell my family a word. I let them continue thinking I was barely surviving. Meanwhile, I also started documenting everything, every missed call I made to them, every ignored text, every family event Michael and I were invited to. And then I began investing my new income wisely, purchasing stocks and real estate, and learning everything I could about wealth building, because poverty had been my prison and I was breaking free. And during this time my family reached out occasionally with superficial messages, "How are you?" and "We should get together soon," but never following through. And I responded politely, distantly, playing the role they expected while I built my empire in secret. And then came the breakthrough. My brother James, who worked in commercial real estate, called me after 8 months of silence because he needed something. He had invested in a development deal that was falling apart, and he needed $50,000 immediately, or he would lose everything. And he called me because he was desperate, calling everyone in the family, and I was his last hope. And I could hear the panic in his voice as he explained how he had already borrowed from our parents and our sister, and now the investors were threatening legal action, and his career was on the line, and his marriage was crumbling. And he said, "I know we haven't been close, but you're my sister, and family helps family, right?" And I felt the irony burn through my veins like acid, and I said very calmly, "Tell me, James, where were you on June 15th last year?" And there was silence, and then stammering, and I continued, "That was Michael. S 10th birthday, the party. You confirmed you would attend the party where my son sat alone and cried and asked me why nobody loved him while you were at the lake house drinking champagne. And James tried to backtrack, saying it was complicated, that mom had insisted everyone come to her gathering, instead that it wasn't personal, and I laughed a sound so cold it scared even me, and I said, I have $50,000, James. In fact, I have considerably more than that, but family helps family, right? And since you taught me that family means nothing, I'm going to pass. And I hung up and blocked his number, and over the next 2 weeks my phone exploded with messages from my entire family. Suddenly they all wanted to talk. My mother left tearful voicemails about how she had made a mistake. My sister sent long texts explaining that she had been going through a hard time. My father tried to show up at my old apartment, but I had moved to a beautiful house in the suburbs and left no forwarding address, and I watched from a distance as James lost his business and his wife filed for divorce, and my parents had to take out a second mortgage to cover their own debts because my brother had borrowed from them under false pretenses, and the family that had once seemed so united began turning on each other, blaming each other for their collective failures. And then I made my move. I planned a celebration for Michael's 11th birthday, but this time I invited his real family, the nurses from my old hospital who had covered my shifts when I was struggling, the neighbors who had played with him when he was lonely, his teachers who had encouraged him, the little league coach who had waived fees so he could play, and I rented an entire amusement park section for the party. And there were 50 people who came who genuinely loved my son, who celebrated him, and I posted photos everywhere on social media knowing my family would see, and they did, and the messages came flooding in. My mother begging to be included, my sister asking why strangers were more important than blood, my brother sending angry texts about how I was being cruel and vindictive, and I responded to them all with a single message, a photo of Michael sitting alone at his 10th birthday party with tears on his face and the caption, "This is what you chose, now live with it." And I blocked every single one of them, and 6 months later I received a letter, not a text, not an email, but a handwritten letter from my mother. And it was 12 pages long, and she confessed everything: how she had been jealous of my independence, how she had resented that I didn't need their approval, how she had convinced the family to skip Michael's party as a lesson, to teach me that I couldn't make it without them, and how she had watched me struggle and felt superior, and how now seeing me thrive without them had broken her, because she realized she had destroyed the only daughter who had ever truly been authentic, and she begged not for forgiveness but just for a chance to meet her grandson again, to apologize to him directly. And I sat with that letter for weeks, and Michael, who was now 11 and thriving, confident, and surrounded by genuine love, asked me one day, "Mom, do you ever think about your family?" And I said, "Every day, baby." And he said, "Do you think they're sorry?" And I said, "I think they're sorry they got caught being cruel, not sorry for being cruel." And he nodded with wisdom beyond his years and said, "Maybe one day they can prove they changed." And that's when I realized my son had taught me something. My revenge had been satisfying, but it was keeping me chained to the past as surely as their rejection had. And so I did something unexpected. I invited my mother alone to meet Michael at a neutral location, a park, and I told her she had 1 hour to apologize to him, not to me but to him. And I watched from a distance as my mother knelt before my son and wept and spoke to him, and I saw Michael listen seriously, and then after what felt like an eternity I saw him nod, and they talked, and when the hour was up my mother came to me and said, "Thank you, he's remarkable, and that's entirely because of you. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I will spend whatever time I have left trying to earn it." And I said, "You're right, you don't deserve it, but Michael deserves the chance to know his grandmother if he wants to, and only if he wants to." And over the following year my mother proved herself, showing up to Michael's events, volunteering at his school, never asking for more than he was willing to give, and slowly, painfully, my relationship with her began to heal, while my siblings remained blocked, their pride preventing them from doing the real work of repentance. And I learned that revenge isn't about destruction, it's about boundaries. It's about saying I matter and my child matters, and we will not accept less than we deserve. And now Michael is 13, and he knows his worth, and he knows that love is demonstrated through actions, not words, and he knows that his mother is a warrior who will burn down the world to protect him, and that's the legacy I choose to leave him. Not bitterness but strength, not hatred but standards. And sometimes late at night I still think about that empty birthday party, and my heart still aches, but then I look at the life we've built, the real family we be chosen, and I realize that the best revenge wasn't making them suffer, it was refusing to let their cruelty define us, it was thriving despite them, becoming more than they ever expected, and teaching my son that he is worthy of celebration always, and that's a victory worth more than any apology they could ever offer.